In this video, I'm going to take a B2 essay and up-level it to a C2 level. Let's begin. I'm going to start by reading the original B2 essay, Solving the Mental Health Crisis. In the developed world, levels of mental health are terrible. Problems like depression and anxiety are usual, especially in the young generation. Let us examine 3 ways we can fight this problem. Firstly, people need to be able to see a psychologist quickly and cheaply. In many countries, it is hard to see one and the waiting times are very long. A special doctor can find out what is wrong with a person and find the correct treatment. Secondly, although it may seem simple, people need to obtain the correct levels of sleep because this is very important for staying mentally healthy. Experts recommend creating a good sleep routine and other important lifestyle change. Finally, it is so important to have positive relationships and people you can count on. Sadly, there is a lot of loneliness in the developed world because families are smaller and living in different places. In summary, mental health is a serious topic and affects many people from different parts of life. Making healthy life choices, having positive relationships, and finding help are all important. However, the most important is to recognize the problem and do something. Don't experience it alone. This essay was actually quite good. It was a very strong B2. However, we can definitely make some changes. And I'm going to start with the title, Solving the Mental Health Crisis. I'm going to change one word, and that is the verb. And I'm going to change it to tackling the mental health crisis. If you look up the verb to tackle, we use it in football where one player tries to take the ball from another, but it is also used when society or a large organization is trying to solve a problem, to tackle a problem. We have here in the developed world, levels of mental health are terrible. That is correct, although it is quite simple. Let's change it. Across the developed world. That's a fronted adverbial, so we use a comma. And I'm going to use this fantastic verb. Mental health has plummeted. The verb to plummet means when a figure, a number, falls greatly. So the levels were higher and they have fallen, usually fast and usually low, to plummet. And then we have here, problems like depression and anxiety are usual, especially in the young generation. I'm going to use another fronted adverbial, in recent years, and then I'm going to use a metaphor. A tsunami of depression and anxiety has engulfed millions. And then instead of saying, especially in the young generation, it should actually be the younger generation, by the way, has engulfed millions. Let's say particularly the youngest amongst us. This is being used as a metaphor, a tsunami of depression and anxiety. So it's like a huge, great wave of depression and anxiety that has come with destruction in its path. And then I've used another verb here, to engulf. When we're talking about water or we're talking about fire, if the fire or the water, or in this case the problem, takes everything, we say that it is engulfing it. And then we've got, let us examine 3 ways we can fight this problem. Let us consider 3 potential means possible, solutions to ease this modern day scourge. I've used scourge in one of my other videos. It's a C2 level word. It means a really terrible problem. And the verb to ease means to make better in this case. And have you noticed that the adjective modern day has a hyphen? Now, I will be reading the essay at the end of the video to see if I have made any mistakes. So we have this paragraph beginning with firstly. I'm going to change firstly to first and foremost. It's a fronted adverbial, so it needs a comma. And we have here, people need to be able to see a psychologist quickly and easily. Grammatically correct, great sentence. Can we take it to a C2 level? How about we must provide? So to provide is a formal way of saying give. And I'm going to put access to, so actually it says here we must be able to see a psychologist quickly and easily. We must provide rapid and affordable access. So rapid means quick and affordable means that you can pay for it, so it's cheap. Rapid and affordable access to mental health professionals. Now here they have used psychologist, that's absolutely fine. However, mental health professionals isn't just psychologists, it's everybody that is involved in that area. Now I'm going to keep the fronted adverbial in many countries. In many countries, and then it is hard to see one and the waiting times are very long. How about this? In many countries, patients must endure. Endure, fantastic C2 level word. Lengthy waiting times. If you have to endure something, it is a problem that you have to experience. You don't have any choice. For example, in the UK, we endured a very hard winter. It means that we had to deal with a very difficult winter. So in many countries, patients must endure lengthy waiting times for extremely costly therapeutic services. Therapeutic services, it just means access to seeing a professional. And then it says here, a special doctor can find out what is wrong with a person and find the correct treatment. Let's change that to there is no substitute to a qualified specialist. What that means is there is no other choice. There is no substitute to a qualified specialist who can diagnose and treat those in need. I've actually been thinking, and this sentence is the more formal version of this sentence. But do you know what? I actually think that this would make more sense at the start of this paragraph. So I'm going to move it to there. First and foremost, comma, there is no substitute to a qualified specialist who can diagnose and treat those in need. Therefore, comma, we must provide rapid and affordable access to mental health professionals. In many countries, patients must endure lengthy waiting times for extremely costly therapeutic services. Now I've just been thinking, and this preposition here to, I'm going to change it to for. There is no substitute for a qualified specialist. That is 100% correct. You may be able to use to, but it just sounded slightly strange to my native speaker ears. Now we have this paragraph beginning secondly. Secondly, I'm going to keep that, and we've got here a subordinate clause. Although it may seem simple, people need to obtain the correct levels of sleep because this is very important. So let's change that. Let's use whilst instead of although. Whilst it may seem a simple solution. So secondly, whilst it may seem a simple solution, the importance of obtaining sufficient. Sufficient means enough, and obtaining, to obtain, means to get. Of sufficient sleep cannot be overstated. So this is a very fancy way of saying that it is very important. The importance of obtaining sufficient sleep cannot be overstated. You can't say it enough. It's so important, you must keep saying it. And you could use this construction with a lot of things. The importance of exercise cannot be overstated. The importance of saving your money cannot be overstated. It means it's so important that you cannot say it enough. Let's use a relative clause where mental health is concerned. And then we have here, experts recommend creating a good sleep routine and other important lifestyle, that should say changes. So let's see how we can use this. Let's keep experts. Experts recommend creating a good sleep routine. And then I'm going to use a very fancy expression in conjunction with other lifestyle changes. So you're having your sleep routine, and instead of saying together with, in conjunction with, a great expression for C1 and C2 level writers. So first of all, there is a mistake in that original essay. It sadly should have a comma because it's a fronted adverbial. Finally, it is so important to have positive relationships and people you can count on. Absolutely nothing wrong with that sentence. So let's say, finally, positive relationships. And then look what I'm going to do. With those upon whom you can rely. Whoa, so what have I done there? First of all, to count on, I'm going to say to rely upon, because to rely upon is more formal. In very formal English, instead of saying those you can rely on, we will take the preposition and we will put it earlier in the sentence. Finally, positive relationships with those upon whom you can rely, and also here I've changed who to whom, are paramount. Paramount means really, really important in maintaining great mental health. Regrettably. Now, regrettably, instead of saying sadly, I've actually said regrettably. In this sentence works really, really well. Regrettably, and then we're going to say what the problem is. Regrettably, due to smaller and geographically fragmented families, loneliness is commonplace in the developed world. So, I'm going to talk about this paragraph here. Finally, positive relationships with those upon whom you can rely are positive in maintaining great mental health. Regrettably, due to smaller and geographically fragmented families. So, here it says families that are living in different places. Super fancy, geographically fragmented families. Loneliness is commonplace in the developed world. So this is a super adjective, commonplace. It means that you can find it all over. It's very common, it's very usual. Now our final paragraph. I'm going to keep in summary. In summary, mental health is a serious topic. I'm going to keep that. Mental health is a serious topic, and then instead of saying and affects many people from different parts of life, going to use a relative clause. I often say using a relative clause instead of and is a way to make your writing more formal and advanced, which affects people from, and now I'm going to use an idiom, from all walks of life. Now, I had a question in one of my videos, and it was, can you use idioms in formal writing? Yes, you can, as long as they are formal idioms. And that's the challenge for you as a non-native speaker, sometimes understanding what's formal and what's informal. But people from all walks of life is absolutely fine in this kind of essay. Now it says here, there's a list. Making healthy life choices, having positive relationships, and finding help are all important. However, the most important, and it should say thing, to recognize is to recognize the problem and do something. Don't experience it alone. I'm going to actually take that and make it into a longer sentence. Although healthy life choices, positive relationships, and access to help are all significant. So that significant means important. So that's our subordinate clause with a list. Although healthy life choices, positive relationships, and access to help are all significant, the first step is to recognize a problem exists. Okay, so, and then we have here this last sentence, don't experience it alone. There is an idiom that is perfect, and not suffer in silence. I am now going to read this essay one final time and see if I can make any edits. Now, this essay is coming soon in a special PDF ebook which will contain all my advanced essays, so check out the description box of this video to see if it is ready and available when you are watching. Tackling the mental health crisis. Across the developed world, mental health has plummeted. In recent years, a tsunami of depression and anxiety has engulfed millions, particularly the youngest among us. Let us consider 3 potential solutions to ease this modern-day scourge. There is another verb which you could use, which means to ease, and that's to alleviate, and that is more formal than ease. First and foremost, there is no substitute for a qualified specialist who can diagnose and treat those in need. Therefore, we must provide rapid and affordable access to mental health professionals. So I like the way that we've got a qualified specialist and then we have a mental health professional. So that is a synonym for the same thing. In many countries, patients must endure lengthy waiting times for extremely costly therapeutic services. Secondly, whilst it may seem a simple solution, the importance of obtaining sufficient sleep cannot be overstated where mental health is concerned. That's a relative clause and I'm going to put a comma. Experts recommend creating a good sleep routine in conjunction with other lifestyle changes. Now, a good is quite basic. How about we change it to an effective sleep routine? Finally, positive relationships with those upon whom we can rely are paramount in maintaining great mental health. This is underlined by the computer. It is definitely correct. Do not worry. Regrettably, due to smaller and geographically fragmented families, loneliness is commonplace in the developed world. In summary, mental health is a serious topic which affects people from all walks of life. Although healthy life choices, positive relationships, and access to help are all significant, the first step is to recognize a problem exists and not suffer in silence. I'm going to change access to help, access to treatment. I am really happy with that essay. It's fantastic for a C2 level. And I think that we will leave it there. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you found it useful. If you did, I would love to hear a comment from you. Please give the video a like, and I know that many of my viewers are not subscribed. So subscribe to the channel. It costs you nothing, but it's a great way to help me find more viewers here on YouTube. Finally, why not share this video with someone that you know if they are learning English and want to go from a B2 to a C2 level in their writing. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.